Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
The opposition slams the government over that Oban Energy heads of agreement.
Chamber CEO Edison Sumner says an environmental impact assessment should have been completed before the Oban deal was signed. That story straight ahead.
Another trainer takes our Kyle Joaquin through the ropes on Fit Fridays. Plus, the Christian Council still has no position on amendments to the Sexual Offenses Act. Our news has the latest.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, the heads of agreement for the controversial Oban Energy's oil refinery project was finally tabled in the House of Assembly last night. The 41-page document reveals a number of things, including the fact that an environmental impact assessment will not stop the project from moving forward. Well, that's not sitting well with the opposition, including former Grand Bahama Minister Dr. Michael Darville, who accused the government of not doing its due diligence. Jasmine Brown has more.
Darville says the way he sees it, that heads of agreement should never have been signed without an EIA being completed.
I can say that I have some concerns.
The agreement is for the construction of a $5.5 billion oil refinery liquid bulk storage facility in East End, Grand Bahama. While the heads of agreement that was tabled by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis contains stringent environmental guidelines and fines for environmental infractions in the event of any disasters or failures to comply with the heads, it also states that the government does not have the right to terminate the heads of agreement based upon any EIA report. It states, instead, the government shall work with the developer to mitigate any concerns. If the government does not provide any such comments to the EIA within the aforementioned 60-day period, the EIA shall be deemed acceptable to the government. It goes on to say, if, as a result of the government's review of an EIA, the government determines that the relevant portion of the development cannot be implemented in an environmentally safe and sustainable manner, then the government shall propose the developer take additional specific precautions or make specific modifications to the proposed development in order to address the government's specific concerns. Darville says he is all about creating industry in Grand Bahama, but it has to be done properly, and he does not agree with that particular clause. Darville says he has always had concerns about Oban's potential impact on Grand Bahama, even when he met with its technical team when he was Minister of Grand Bahama.
I think it should not be included in heads of agreement. I always said from the beginning that it is very important not to put the cart before the horse. And I believe in this particular case, the government should have done their due diligence to ensure that the EIA was adequate for the proposed site rather than going the opposite way. And so, yes, they will definitely have major criticisms as a result of that clause. And to backpedal now to try to figure it out could mean litigation or some issue for the government if they try to pull out of the deal.
Meantime, the tabling of the HOA last night also revealed that Oban Energy's non-executive chairman Peter Krieger did not sign the official heads of agreement with the government, as was broadcasted live last week on February 19th. Krieger, who has said that he has no ownership in Oban and is more of an ambassador, made headlines last week after it was revealed that in 2005 he had been accused of violating the federal securities laws in the United States. Krieger has said he settled the claim. Oban President Satpal Dana and Secretary to the Cabinet and Secretary to the National Economic Council Camille Johnson signed the official heads. This despite the fact that Dana was not present at the press conference.
Well, they're two different documents, and if they're two different documents, which one are we relying on? The one that's in the House or the one that was signed there? Now, I'm told that there was a whisper across the floor that the signing was only ceremonial. But if that's the case, I mean, that's a great fraud perpetrated on the Bahamian people. It's a hoax.
As for other concessions in the HOA, it also offers Oban full tax exemptions for import duty, export tax, stamp tax, real property tax, and value-added tax. It also allows for the construction of housing on private land. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Edison Sumner, says an environmental assessment should have been conducted prior to the signing of the Oban deal. Jared Higgs tells us more.
Chamber CEO Edison Sumner insists that an environmental assessment ought to have been conducted prior to the signing of the heads of agreement for Oban Energies.
Really, an environmental impact assessment should have been conducted as a part of the due diligence, right? We shouldn't have to sign a deal, then go back to fix the deal, right? These things should have been in place and engaged long before any deal has been signed. So if there is no environmental impact assessment, especially for something operating in that industry, which is already a very environmentally sensitive industry, you would have thought that there would have been the opportunity to complete an environmental impact assessment on the deal to confirm and to validate its effectiveness and to see that it is in fact an environmentally friendly deal.
The agreement, tabled in the House on Thursday, states that the parties agree that the government shall not have the right to terminate these heads of agreement based upon any environmental impact assessment report, but instead will work with the developer to mitigate any concerns. Sumner says considering the importance of the environment to the country, this move raises a few eyebrows.
This whole thing with us being, so climate sensitive and the rest of it, these are going to be very important issues. It surprises us that the deal would have been executed without an environmental impact assessment being completed.
Sumner also addressed the discrepancy in the documents, where the one that was signed a few weeks ago appeared to be different than the one that was tabled in the House of Assembly yesterday. Oban Energy's non-executive chairman Peter Krieger did not sign the official heads of agreement with the government as was broadcasted last week. According to the agreement tabled in the House of Assembly by the Prime Minister, Oban President Satpal Duna and Secretary to the Cabinet and the National Economic Council Camille Johnson signed the official heads.
Only those who were there know whether the document that was presented in Parliament yesterday was in fact the document that was signed by the Prime Minister, Mr. Krieger, last week. So we don't know if there was another document signed after the issues arose about Mr. Krieger's past, etc. I think we'd have to rely on the document that was actually tabled in Parliament. Whoever signature appears on that document is the one that we'd have to be content with.
Asked whether the government moved too hastily to bring employment to jobs-desperate Grand Bahama, Sumner said,
Freeport is a place that needs a lot of help. We're looking at other areas that we can support the economy of Grand Bahama, particularly through the introduction of ICT as a major industry there, and to establish Grand Bahama, particularly Freeport, as the ICT hub for the Caribbean and hopefully for the entire region. So we know that there's a desperate need for jobs, to get people working, to establish more entrepreneurial opportunities, and we don't think that anything should step in the way of that. But when we're talking about getting in a multi-billion-dollar deal, we saw the fiasco that was surrounding Bahama and the delay it took because of certain things were not done properly. And we just want to ensure that when you sign a deal that's a multi-billion-dollar deal, when you make a commitment and you bind the country to these arrangements, that the arrangements are going to be ones that will benefit all of us.
The agreement will also allow Oban to build housing units for its employees, as well as be fined for environmental infractions that are not remedied within 30 days from the initial notification to the government. Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
In other news, former Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell is joining others who have criticized outspoken attorney and human rights activist Fred Smith for his latest comments about people born in the Bahamas of Haitian descent.
Well, I think, first of all, it's an extremely unpatriotic remark to make for someone who is an attorney of such senior standing, and it doesn't lend to his credibility. He keeps saying that he's actually fighting for the Bahamas, but this is against the interests of the Bahamas.
Just yesterday, Immigration Minister Brent Simonet fired back at Smith over his recent call for the Haitian government to ban deportees born in the Bahamas of Haitian descent. On Tuesday, Smith, who is also president of Human Rights Bahamas, commented on the Minnis administration's recent meetings with the Haitian president. Smith has made it clear that he too would like to meet with the Haitian head of state to persuade him to refuse to allow the government of the Bahamas to what he called illegally expel persons born in the Bahamas of Haitian descent. Smith has made headlines in recent months after representing migrants and people of Haitian descent born in the Bahamas in nearly a dozen cases where a Supreme Court judge ruled they were detained unlawfully. Mitchell says he believes Smith is doing more harm than good.
So all of this making victims and so on and so forth. I keep saying the Bahamas is an easy country to lawfully migrate to, and everyone should have a status in the country. Those who do not have a status are subject to being excluded by the Directive of Immigration, and that is the principle on which we ought to be moving forward.
Well, it's Friday, and another trainer putting our News' Kyle Joaquin through one intense workout. Today, he got it in at Club One Fitness Center with Jay Darling. Here's how it went.
Our location, the Black Box at Club One Fitness Center. Our trainer, Jay Darling, a competitor and one heck of a personal trainer. Our session, circuit training.
So you do a complete circuit, and then you do a 1 minute rest, and then you repeat. So two sets per circuit.
1 minute rest?
1 minute rest.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna break a sweat.
You might break something else. Who knows?
I could tell this was gonna be interesting. A quick run through.
Straight down the line. Straight down the line. Come right back here. Push the ball up.
I mean, how much?
Once you get through this, then we get to the apparatus. 30 seconds.
Oh, just do it 30 seconds. Oh boy.
And that wasn't even the half.
5, 4, 3. Keep moving. 2. Beast mode. Look at that sweat already. Look like sweat already. Good. Let's go. Keep going.
But that was only the first circuit. For the second, we added a few things like push-ups.
That's your chest. Oh, good. Let's move. Move. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's what I'm talking about, man. Be slow. Faster, 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 faster. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2. There we go. Hey, beast mode. Let's go. Let's go, beast mode.
Yeah. Hi. See, watching it, you didn't think it was this hard. Whew. Beast mode, though.
There you go. Beast mode. Woo.
Still, that wasn't it.
8, 9, 10. There you go. Good job. Yeah, last thing we're gonna do.
A killer workout?
Yeah.
What did we work?
All right, so we did a full body workout, full body core work, strength endurance, muscle endurance, a little bit of cardio going in there. At first you said, am I gonna sweat? There it is, folks. There it is. He's sweating on top of his head now.
Aside from putting his clients through intense workouts day after day, Jay is a competitor.
In May, I'll be going, or I'm trying to go to Canada, where I can possibly get my first pro card. So I'm gonna need a little sponsors, and but you did great, man. You did awesome, man. Hey, beast mode.
Beast mode.
Beast mode.
All day. You heard it.
All day.
So tell us, where could someone find Jay Darling?
All right, you can find me at bornprimalfitness.com on IG, right here at Club One Fitness. Look for me. I'm the big guy with the locks.
Alrighty, Jay.
And for all my hard work, a Club One towel and shaker bottle. Till next time for Fit Friday on Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. Still to come on Our News, when we can expect a position from the Christian Council on amendments to the Sexual Offenses Act, and the Chamber of Commerce set to hold an energy forum. That and more when Our News returns.